live stream is happening because a few weekends ago, I turned 25. And the thing is, though, I was away that day. So no live stream happened on that very day. But now that I am back from the travels, this live stream, the 25th birthday live stream, will be happening today. How this live stream goes is I explain things that have been going on since I turned 25 and showing you the things I got, explaining what happened on the day I turned 25, how my birthday went. So, let's begin. But first of all, before I get into all that, it's also going to be, since technically speaking, the DVD haul. This was a lot of things I got. So, first, let's show the things I bought myself before we get into what I bought on, and got for my birthday. So, the first things first, the first DVD I bought in July, Renfield. This is easily one of the best movies of this year. Hello, Magni. Good timing. Guys, I don't care what people say. I think this is easily one of the best films this year. This film was wild, funny, even gory, especially the apartment scene. Heck, this even had better gore than Evil Dead Rise. And I also love Nick Cage's Dracula. Nick Cage's Dracula was the best part of this movie as well. And I thought the whole cast did pretty great. I really like this modern take on Dracula, and I even love the little footage of the 1930s Dracula movie. I really like they put the footage of the 1930s Dracula film and put Nick Cage in there, so that was a good throwback. It's definitely fan service done right for Dracula fans, and it felt like the best portrayed Dracula in a very long time, too. And I really like that. The plot is Dracula has this assistant he abuses. This assistant finally decides he wants out of it, and he goes unsuccessful because Dracula keeps preventing him from trying to escape his so-called slavery. And then one day he meets this female cop, and after he saves this female cop's life, he decides that's to find a way out of it. And yeah, Dracula's not the only villain. It's not the only villain. We also have this mafia gangster who's literally played by Sonic himself, Ben Schwartz, and easily already finally seen his best live action role. I haven't seen much else from Ben Schwartz apart from Sonic before this. So, but yeah, the thing, if there's one nitpick though, there are some scenes where Ben Schwartz's character and Dracula team up. I kind of do wish we kind of saw more scenes of them teaming up, because I think it's just kind of ironic and hilarious kind of seeing Sonic and Dracula literally team up here. But Renfield, one of my favorite films this year. Sucks it bombed the box office because it shouldn't have. But Renfield was an awesome film. Next up, an 80s classic I bought myself, The Karate Kid. Ah, yes. This film is an absolute classic of 1984, easily one of the best films of 1984. I like almost everything about this film, from the characters, from the karate themes, from the whole montages, everything, from the real good story right here. Yeah, you're right, Luke. Many great films bomb, and many shitty movies make profits. You're definitely right about that. But yeah, this film is a gem, easily. You should see it, Magni. One of the best films in 1984. Yeah, this is still the best one of this series. The only one I like in this series, even. And honestly, this honestly should have been the only one in this series because it's like the filmmakers, after seeing this movie's profit, thought, hey, Dan LaRusso must be the new Rocky. I guess Daniel must be the new Rocky now. No. The difference is with Rocky, it would have been fine seeing Rocky be a standalone too, but Rocky's a character you can make more stories out of. You can develop more of. That's Rocky is a character you can make some more films out of. You could give more stories to, more of a journey to, more of a complete, even bigger story arc. Expand on Rocky's story arc. That is a character you can make sequels out of. Daniel LaRusso, no. Daniel LaRusso's not someone like Rocky. Daniel LaRusso just works best as a one and done character. Same with Mr. Miyagi. Like, when it comes to the follow ups, Karate Kid Part 2, the opening scene was good. The scene where the Cobra Kai instructor gets his ass kicked by Mr. Miyagi, that was a good scene. That should have been the ending of the first film. I don't know why that could have been the proper full ending of the first film. That would have made more sense. After that, though, the movie goes downhill because the second one reveals that the second one literally reveals that Daniel's love interest in this movie dumped him for a football player literally 6 months after this movie. So that just makes this movie completely, that just made this whole story arc pointless. The whole point of this movie pointless as well. And it literally just made, yeah, because it just made Daniel's training in this whole movie mean nothing. The whole point was him to finally train, get payback on the bullies that keep preventing him from, that harassed him and his girlfriend. That was the point of this whole movie. Like, getting revenge, yeah, like, just getting, now just this whole final fight meant nothing, basically. That's what this whole first movie did. The second one did. And then he got part 3, which would have actually, now, trying to bring back Cobra Kai would have honestly made a good plot for a sequel. I'll admit that. That wouldn't have been a bad idea for a second film. The instructor now wanting revenge on Miyagi and Daniel for ruining his business. You have a good plot for a sequel right there. Great idea. Sadly, it was executed poorly. But that didn't stop them from making a fourth one called The Next Karate Kid. No one liked it. I didn't even see it. Don't care. Don't want to see it. I did see the 2010 remake, though. Long time ago. So I don't remember much about it. All I remember was it stars Will Smith's son and Jackie Chan, and it's set in Beijing, more of an actual karate area, so at least there's that. At least the remake was set in an actual karate area of Beijing, so there was that, but it should be a kung fu movie. And it was kind of just the same plot as the first one. Most of the scenes were the same as the first. And honestly, guys, Jaden Smith cannot act. I'm sorry, guys, but that's true. Will Smith's son just cannot act in movies. All of his performances are usually terrible. Like, you guys should try watching Day the Earth Stood Still, telling me that I'm wrong. I dare some of you to go watch Day the Earth Stood Still and then try to tell me that I'm actually a fool for saying that. It's like, the only time his son was tolerable was Pursuit of Happiness, and that was about it. But yeah, I don't remember much of the remake. I saw the remake in theaters when it came out. I don't remember much about it. Honestly, it's eh. First Karate Kid, though, classic, nonetheless. And, of course, our next one is going to be for an After Dark Horror Fest 8 Films to Die For movie. Yeah, that great festival with all the crappy horror movies. that they market. These movies are too graphic for the public, and most of them always end up being complete dog shit. That's A Films to Die For. Most of their movies aren't even graphic. They're just cheap sci-fi channel dog shit. There is one though, one that actually is surprisingly not bad, and that's Borderland. And you want to know why? Because it's not about CGI creatures. It's not stupid, like, fake stories that mean nothing. It's the same paranormal shit you see in every other film. And trying to be all edgy and cool. No. This is based off a real murder story and a real cult in Mexico. Now that's actually chilling. Right here. It's probably the one A Films to Die For movie I can tolerate. But yeah. And our next three are MCU movies that I needed to complete my collection. There's one I still need to buy, but here's the next three I bought. I reviewed these earlier this year, but I still needed to buy them anyway because I need to complete the collection. Here we go. The true collection of the only ones, anyways. The real good ones, anyways. Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor the Dark World. Yes. These are some of the lesser received ones, but here's the thing though. This movie, Incredible Hulk, I think is damn underrated. The most underrated movie of the MCU. Like, this was when Hulk was done with respect. Hulk was done right. Hulk was not a loser and a joke who ate tacos and did dabs and played, who like did Hulk out dabs or trained a twerking cousin who was annoying in that Disney Plus series. Yeah. Yeah, back when the Hulk was actually the Hulk. I really wish they had kept, decided to get along with Edward Norton and actually let Edward Norton do his vision of things, because even he would have done a better, he would have had a way better Hulk story arc right here. There's nothing bad. Mark Ruffalo was alright, but Ed Norton to me was the better Hulk. Like, they really should have let Ed Norton stay and do what he wanted to do. Because we could have had a great Hulk in the MCU. Right there. And our next one, Iron Man 2. Now, I think people shit on this one way too much for no reason. I don't think this is one of the worst MCU movies, because this movie, guys, believe it or not, has a purpose to exist. Unlike the worst Iron Man 3, this one actually still needs to be watched. You want to know why? Because, first off, it introduces War Machine, Black Widow, and Nick Fury for their first actual debuts, besides just post-credit scenes, or teases. And, well, what else can I think of? Oh, yeah. Also, it sets up the Avengers. It pretty much sets the viewer up for the first Avengers film. Yeah, and it kind of starts to show the more heroic side of Tony in this one. Right here. And we kind of know more about Howard Stark. And then our next one, I'm not even going to ask Declan. But whatever. The thing is, yeah, not two. But anyway, our next one is Thor the Dark World. Now, yeah, this is one of the weaker MCU movies, one of the least good MCU movies, but even this has a reason to exist. Like, at the time, this was the worst MCU movie until some much worse stuff has come out. Now I'd rather watch this. When I rewatched this year to review it, I didn't think it was as bad as I once remembered it being. Granted, it's still not a good movie nonetheless, but I would at least this movie wasn't a complete joke fest. Like let's say, Woken Blunder. And it wasn't done by Taika Waititi. Yeah, like, wasn't done by Taika Waititi's dumb comedy in this. And it was actually proper Thor. The Thor we're supposed to be reading about. It's the Thor we actually read in the comics. But, and also another thing, guys. This teases one of the Infinity Stones. And it teases the Collector, who would appear and pretty much sets up Guardians of the Galaxy. So, there's that. There's no reasons why it still exists. And plus, also, after Avengers Endgame and that scene in Endgame where Thor actually gets to have one final moment with his mom before her death, and it brought full closure to Thor, I think I also started to appreciate this movie better after that. So, yeah. I still need to get the first Doctor Strange, guys, and then my collection will be finally complete. Alright, so, and now we get to the birthday movies I got. So, alright, so for the birthday films that, wait, why is Sonic 2 in my pile? I got that last year. Oops, wrong one. Go back in there. I got you last year. I'm going to the ones I got this year. Okay, anyway, now back to this. The ones I got for my birthday while I was away on my trip are Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Okay, guys, hear me out, guys. I get this one. I get, like, so many people are like, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is one of the worst movies I've seen in my fucking life. This is one of the worst DCU movies ever. This film was a disgrace to the first film. I really kind of don't think that. Sorry, guys, but I thought this movie was averagely enjoyable. Yes, I mean, the first one was better, but there were some things I liked about this movie. First off, I liked the just Billy scenes. I liked the scenes where it was just Billy in normal form. That was the best parts of the film. Because in the first film, we're introduced to him not wanting to accept his foster family and think that he can still reunite with his biological mom. Then his biological mom abandoned him at that carnival on purpose. That's how that story of the first one goes. Here, I feel like they really improved his character in this. When it's just him and his normal self, they really showed his character development here. Now he doesn't want his foster family to abandon him because he's starting to reach 18 and thinks he's going to be dropped out, and he doesn't want to lose them this time. Now that is what I call character growth. Now that's terrific character development right there. Like, I feel like if this movie, I mean, the thing is, the bad qualities, yeah, the wizard coming back, why I thought he died in the first one, why would he come back for this? We saw him die. How the hell did he survive? They don't even explain how he survived. And, like, him and Freddy scenes, not big of a fan of. I'm not really big of a fan of the Freddy subplot with him, and Rachel Zegler's character, I could care less about, and stuff, and I feel like in this movie we had way too much Shazam scenes, and Shazam was a little too goofy in this one. I think they could have made Shazam a little less goofy here this time around. Because I feel like Billy was better developed than Shazam was. His goofy stuff, antics were fine in the first film, but that was the first movie that was introducing us to him. They could have had him a little bit less goofy during the fight scenes. Just have him be goofy at the right times, and that's about it. Shazam is comedic, but come on. And and another thing about Freddy. Remember that ending of the first film where Billy in Shazam form decides to repair his reputation after failing to show up for lunch? And he brings Superman along. We never saw Henry Cavill's face here, which sucked. We should have saw Henry Cavill in that scene. That apparently meant nothing because Freddy still gets bullied in this sequel anyway. So, what was the point? That also does kind of ruin the first film's ending in a way. I also didn't really like that, but the good side though, remember the Henry Cavill criticism? Well, this one, Billy has this weird crush on Wonder Woman, and the ending, we actually see her appear, and this time we actually see Gal Gadot appear this time. So it was nice. So it was actually nice to see one of the Snyderverse members actually cameo this time around. So that was very. So I like that they made up for that one. But Shazam: Fury of the Gods in the end, not as good as the first one, but I feel like this one's overhated. I would definitely watch Fury of the Gods over worse movies like Quantum Mania. There was worse superhero movies we've already seen, like Eternals, Multiverse of Crapness, Crap, Woken Blunder, Black Panther Funeral, Wakanda Funeral, that depressing as shit, Alien 3, Crow 2, Black Panther sequel, that somehow got praise and got a pass for disrespectfully killing off T'Challa and then killing off his mom too. And because Chadwick Boseman can't even rest in peace because Kevin Feige and Disney decided to film his grave and funeral to sell tickets at the beginning of the film to make money. So he pretty much, so yeah. At least would rather watch something like this over a funeral movie that disrespects a deceased actor. Even Fury 7 did Wakanda Forever better. And now back to this stream. Our next one we got, one I meant to get, kept meaning to get all of last year, never got to, The Lost City. This was another one of my favorite comedies of last year. I will admit, when I saw the trailers, I was like, it didn't look that great. It just looked like another generic jungle comedy, just trying to be like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, the Dwayne Johnson Jumanji films. I thought it was just trying to be that, just no Dwayne Johnson. Like, come on, like a jungle comedy starring Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock. Really? The movie actually came out though, and honestly, I gotta say, this is surprisingly an actually fun time watching this. Easily, Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock's characters had some good chemistry with one another, and but I think the best part of this movie, no doubt, was Daniel Radcliffe's energetic performance and villain. His character was a blast to watch, easily one of the funniest villains of last year. Like, he was just gold. He's just gold here, a perfect little parody of those ruthless millionaire villains that greedily want to find his artifact. A nice little reference to those Indiana Jones villains right there. Or a villain of every treasure hunt film. But yeah, I easily enjoyed Lost City, and I had a fun time with it. Our next and final movie I got for my birthday was an animated film that I saw in the theaters. The first time I thought it was averagely good. Loved it way better the second time I saw it in theaters. I saw this one in theaters twice. And it's now one of my favorite movies of the year as well. The Super Mario Brothers movie. Easily, like, y'all remember, guys, when they announced this movie and they announced all the actors, and we were all like, ugh. We were all dreading this movie to come out. We all thought it was going to suck, especially considering Illumination was going to make this movie. And at that time, I've never been a big fan of Illumination. The only exceptions I could make were the two Sing movies and the first two Despicable Me movies anyways, and to some extent the Rise of Gru, but that was about it for Illumination, because they only had like 5 enjoyable or tolerable films under their belt. They're the same company that made that shitty Grinch movie, made the Minions spinoff, made the Lorax film, made the Secret Life of Pets Toy Story knockoffs. Anyway, but back to this movie though. Then the trailers came out, and and we were all like, okay, that wasn't bad. Definitely liked Jack Black's Bowser in the teaser. That was already a big selling point, and although at the time when it came to Pratt's Mario casting, we were all a little iffy on that because we all know, like, a lot of us do really like Chris Pratt as an actor, but as Mario though, you sure about this? And the first teaser didn't really sell it, but thankfully his Mario started to improve in the next two trailers as well. And the next trailer really started to say, okay, I'm interested in checking this out after seeing that second trailer. Then the movie actually came out, and I saw the critical reactions with the 50% on Stupid Tomatoes, as I call that site, that joke site now. But I saw the movie, and yeah, it was decently good. There were some qualities that did bug me the first time I saw it, like, especially, I still don't like Donkey Kong guys in this movie. I thought Donkey Kong was kind of an annoying asshole in this film. It's not helping he's played by Seth Rogen, but that's the thing though. They really could have made Donkey Kong more likable. Not some jerk football college playing jock who does a nipple dance when we first meet him. And like even and the point is even his dad's clearly can't even stand his dance either. Like I don't blame his dad in that scene really. But yeah. And also, I just at the time felt the movie was short, a little too short. Like they could have made it like 98 minutes, like a few minutes longer, because it just felt a little rushed at the time. But like Sonic was way long. Sonic was a much better runtime than this movie's runtime. Like same runtime as the first Sonic movie, like 98 minutes would have been fine. Here, like it could have fleshed out Mario and Luigi's sibling relationship a little more here because their sibling relationship was the best part of this movie. But second time though, this was much better. Way better the second time I watched it. It's now one of my favorite films of the year, and it's my third favorite Illumination movie. And sadly though, I don't think this good streak is going to last long because I saw the trailer for Migration, and it looks generic and bad. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to downhill again with Migration. Because the trailers are really making me already hate it. Our next one, though. Next birthday gift I got was a video game. For the PS4. Borderlands. I still have yet to play this. I'll stop going outside and stuff. Play in the fall when more people go inside again. Then I'll play. Sometimes I prefer to play video games when either it's cloudy or not overly sunny. Like summertime, I try to get outside more. So summertime, I don't really like spending too much time on a TV or recording. That's why you see less videos in the summer, because summertime, I usually try to get outside. And that's what I've been trying to do more of this year. Especially. Summertime's usually a time for going out. It's not really being addicted to electronics so much. That's how I view it. All right. And our next four. Now, for the birthday part, before I get to the next four movies. What happened on my birthday while I was away? Well, at the cabin, I had German pancakes for breakfast. They were awesome. Then, we drove into a town called Smithers the whole day. Walked around it. And we visited this one thrift shop that, believe it or not, had some DVDs that attracted my attention. And these were the four I got at that thrift shop on the day of my birthday when we visited town. So first off, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, I'll admit, this film is actually one of Disney's best films. I will admit that. This has actually been one of my favorite movies since I was in Disney movies since I was in second grade. I saw this in the theater on Christmas break and stuff. Like I've always liked this movie. I think it's really enjoyable and a fun movie to watch. And I think Liam Neeson gives a really great performance as Aslan. And I think all the cast give great performances here. Now though, the sequels, not so much. Prince Caspian, I remember thought I saw Prince Caspian in the theaters and I just thought it was boring. It lacked all the joy of this movie. had. Like, I think it lacked all that great action this movie had. And also, just about half the first movie's characters were gone, and Aslan barely even appears until the end and a dream. Why? Then again, technically, he gets such crappy roles in the sequels. They really dump him as minor roles in the sequels. And then I only saw Voyage of the Dawn Treader once, and I hated it. Like, oh my god, I hated Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Just that, because that Will Poulter character in the third one really pissed me off so much throughout that whole movie. To be honest, the only film I've really liked Will Poulter in was We're the Millers. Here, because that's the only time he's not unlikable. Just most of the movies he's in, usually he plays either idiots or outright typical assholes. Biggest example being Midsommar. Our next one was an Adam Sandler comedy from 2005, The Longest Yard. I saw this film when I was in high school, and yeah, I think it's one of his best films. One of the last good comedies he did. Easily. And I know this is a remake. I have not seen the original movie, but this was not bad for a remake. Yeah, that is a shame. Yeah, that is a shame they keep making him play unlikable characters in his movies. Let him play a likable character let Will play a likable character for once. Is that really so hard to ask? Apparently. Now back to this movie though. This nice little thing, this guy goes to prison and he has to train these prisoners for a football game by the warden's orders. But yeah, I just don't remember much of this movie, guys, but I actually do remember enjoying it. I've only seen this one. I have not seen the original with Burt Reynolds, but I definitely know they got Burt Reynolds to come back for this movie. And yeah, I think it's enjoyable. That's all I remember being out of it, but I will rewatch it eventually, but one of Adam Sandler's last good comedies. And one of the better sports comedies out there. Our next one was a first-time watch that I saw while I was away. This was a movie I never saw before, but it's one of Matt McConaughey's best films, apparently, most iconic films. So I bought this one to check it out. Dazed and Confused. Watched this while I was away, and I think this is easily one of the best comedies out there, and easily one of Matt McConaughey's best films. This was back in the time when he was in the more teen stage, he wasn't really that famous. This came out long before he was like more well known today, and an actual Oscar winner. This was during the time his fame had begun. And it's a nice little Clerk-style comedy about these high schoolers on their first day of summer break, pretty much having like one entire night of a party out within their area because they can't go to the person's house was going to be out because the parents figured it out. So they just go around town. You see more of their kind of lives, especially the plot involving these freshmen. And yeah, apparently Ben Affleck plays a high school bully in this that the freshmen get revenge on. Like, I had no idea that was Ben Affleck when I first saw this. And I was like, looked it up. I was like, wait, that was Ben Affleck? Wow. Like, this movie stars a lot of like pre-fame actors at the time that have gone on to be more famous nowadays. But yeah, Dazed and Confused is a pretty funny film. And our next final one I got myself was this IMAX film. They're one of the IMAX's 40-minute documentaries, but I know it's narrated by two actors I like. It's one of their most notorious, Deep Sea. Just got it because apparently it's narrated by Johnny Depp and Kate Winslet. They're two actors I like. Now, how the rest of the birthday went. Cruised more around Smithers, had McDee's for lunch, cruised around an old trail some more, saw a hatchery, then cruised back into Smithers, saw this ski resort, and cruised back down to Smithers for Boston Pizza for dinner. Then after that, we actually went and saw Meg 2 The Trench. And you're wondering my thoughts. How was Meg 2? Was it terrible like everyone said it is? Well, this is going to come off as controversial, but no. I thought it was actually kind of a blast. And it sounds weird I'm saying that, but I don't care, guys. I thought Meg 2 was fun. Okay? I had a good time with this movie. I thought it was actually pretty funny. I mean, it was, yeah, the plot was stupid, but that's why I liked it. It was definitely just so ridiculous. I just had fun with it. I didn't care what people said. I thought it was a blast from start to finish. The audience laughed. Like, the shark scenes were pretty funny. Like, one scene literally has this unlikable woman talking on her cell phone to the villains, and the shark just literally breaks through the glass and eats her while she's talking on the phone. And the massacre thing at the end was actually also had some funny moments. And I had fun with the Meg to the Trench. I decently enjoyed it. It's not a great movie. It's not one of the great films of this year, but I thought it was a fine movie for what it was. I mean, I think I had more. And plus, another thing, I like this one didn't end on a sequel hook like the first one practically did. Had a brief sequel setup stinger this time around, and I I kind of had a bit more fun watching this one than the first. If I'm gonna be honest, the first one I thought was kind of boring. This one I just thought was ridiculously goofy and enjoyable. Okay, it provided me entertainment. So yeah, and that's how the whole day went. Then we drove back home and went to bed because it was pretty late when we got back. But yeah, up north was pretty good. It was calm, quiet, less drama, unlike here in this area. And there's less wildfire smoke, and it's less boiling hot because this area the sun decides to be a little because outside the sun decide often this summer nowadays seems to decide to be a complete shithead and be 30 degrees on certain days. Apparently it's nearly 40 degrees while I was gone because the sun decided to be an asshole, where the boiling hot weather decided to be assholes and make it 40 degrees. I think it's supposed to be sunny. No, no, no. I think it's supposed to be a bit rainy a few days next week. So that should be good. It'll be a good introduction to fall. Because fall is coming up. And nowadays I'm trying to get ready for Halloween because the first thing I got Grandma got me some birthday money, so the first things I bought with that were a Handy Beach mixer that I needed for my apartment. That was an important thing I needed. The first thing I wanted to get with that birthday money was something important I needed, or just things I mostly needed. Next thing I got yesterday, the first part of my planned Halloween costume, Art the Clown. Mask. Guys, he doesn't talk. I kind of does mind things, so, yeah. I want to be Art for Halloween this year. The thing is, though, I'm going to have to get his costume on Amazon. But the mask part's taken care of. I even have a Terrifier shirt I got from Spencer's the weekend before my trip. So I'll be wearing that in a lot of my Halloween videos. Can't wait to do that, and yeah, I can see in these. My eyes are like right here. My eyes are like right there. I can see what I'm doing. But yeah. I want to be. Yeah, you're right about that, Pink Eye. Art the Clown is more terrifying than Pennywise in the remakes. Although, technically speaking, guys, I prefer to call Art the Mime, because he's kind of more of a mime than a clown. He acts more like a mime. He never talks like Pennywise. He does art. He does mime-like movements. And his kills are brutal as fuck. Such as, like... And if you don't believe me, his kills are brutal as fuck, go watch the movies yourselves. In the first one, you have this hacksaw. You have this literal hacksaw kill. And if that wasn't gory enough, do I have to mention the bedroom kill? Yeah. I don't think you want to know that kill. But although when I saw these movies, I didn't throw up and faint like a lot of people did. Like I don't think they're really vomit worthy I don't think they're like throw up and faint worthy movies. They're not The Exorcist. Like when I saw Terrifier 2, I was like, oh, that's definitely gruesome, but I didn't vomit during that. Well, I've seen gory horror films, guys, so this is coming from some guy who's seen this. Then again, True Fire Pink Guy. This is coming from a guy who has seen gory ass shit like A Serbian Film, the Human Centipede films, which were all crappy movies. But Terrifier 2 is actually a good film, unlike those. And I can't wait for Terrifier 3. Nice, Magni. What did you think of it? And Terrifier 3 is the only horror film I'm like crazy hyped for coming out. That's the only one. Like there's Quiet Place 3 I'm also excited for, but this movie, Terrifier 3, yeah, it's one of the best horror films ever made. Definitely. With Terrifier 3, that's like the one I'm crazy hyped for. And I hope we could get some more original slasher icons that follow in Art's legacy. No more rebooting Freddy, no more rebooting Jason, no more rebooting Michael, no more rebooting Chucky, no more rebooting Leatherface even, or rebooting Ghostface for Scream 7s, or rebooting Michael Myers for more Corey crap, like in Halloween Ends. Hell, I even heard Jason Bum wants to do an Elm Street trilogy. Yeah, I heard Jason Bum wants to revive Freddy next after The Exorcist. Please don't! Like, get the fuck out of here. That would be disrespectful to Robert Englund. They would not recast him because he's too old for the role, so... And we saw, they recasted Freddy in the remake, and we all know how that turned out. So leave Freddy the fuck alone. Other horror films that need a sequel are Trick or Treat, that anthology horror film. I was Sam from Trick or Treat for one Halloween. During the COVID Halloween in 2020. I was Sam from Trick or Treat. Like, Terrifier 3, I would like also hype for. I would like to see a Trick or Treat 2 because I think Sam has the potential to be the next Creep from Creepshow. Like Trick or Treat has the perfect potential to be the next Creepshow franchise in today's world. Like I want a sequel to Trick or Treat and to have Sam go to more neighborhoods, terrorize more trick or treaters. Occasionally, just go to another neighborhood and have some news stories. So like, I wish we could have more Trick or Treat films instead of more VHS sequels of all anthology franchises. But yeah, like Art, Sam, some degree Megan, make more original horror icons like them. But yeah, this art mask is the first part of my costume. So I'm gonna have to get the costume on Amazon because Spirit of Halloween selection sucks. Ugh. They only have the mask at the stores, but not the costume. That makes no sense. But next things I got recently today. One frame. They're not going on my wall yet, guys. I need to figure out a way to put them on my wall. There's one that's Die Hard. 2 so far are framed. Yeah, half the posters are kind of cut off because I didn't realize how big the frames were going to be, or too big the posters were going to be for these. But yeah, guys, they are poster frames for the wall. More will come for. I don't think the Nobody poster is going to be able to have a frame because it's too big. Because Nobody is too big for one. I need to get one for Halloween and The Thing. Maybe some small ones for the Clerks, Saw, Infinity War, Empire, Godfather posters. But yeah, finally got some poster frames. I can finally paint up professionally now. Yeah. It's worked only 2 so far. I've got to get a few more, but poster frames. Now I can have better ways to hang up my posters on the walls. Besides with thumbtacks or tape. But there we go. Then my posters won't get wrecked if I ever have to move out. We did visit Stewart's, which it was alright town. Not much too grand, but alright. For what it was. Then the rest of the week we just kind of chilled. Last day of the trip we saw Totem Poles. And then Wednesday we cruised Smithers again for a brief bit till I had to go to the airport. Till I had to go to the airport to go back home, and yeah, that's how the trip went. So it was a nice time to get away. We're back now. Now 25 years old. I haven't felt older. I don't really feel too old just yet. But 25 now. And I'd like to live the best I can with being 25. This fall, I might try to do more things besides just going to theaters. Maybe I'll try going to sports games or try doing some more Halloween attractions around town. Because, guys, why should I go watch shit like Exorcist Believer? Why should I go watch that shit? Only if it were to make an entertaining rant, yes, but no other reason, so why bother? I'd rather go do actually fun things, and even more than watch a 3-hour Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And it better be just a rumor, because if it is confirmed to be 3 hours, I am not bothering. Because I don't need to see a 3-hour video game horror movie. Like, Five Nights at Freddy's, like, it looks like a fine movie, but please, does it nearly need to be 3 hours long? Come on. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I hope this October can be good. Hopefully some Halloween parties in the neighborhood may happen. Hopefully. And hopefully I get invited to them. Yeah, this year's been a shitty year for movies. We've had like Sisu, Cross the Spider-Verse, Oppenheimer, John 4. Let's say I think of Renfield. Yeah, Renfield. Unrated version of Megan Plane. Missing. Other than that, not a great year. And honestly, knowing how not great this year's been for movies, maybe the strikes are a good thing. Maybe after the strikes we'll finally get some actually good films. And finally get better years for a change. So maybe these 2 strikes are actually honestly a wake-up call after how terrible this year's been. I bet even the actors and writers could see how terrible this year's been and clearly went. And also it was also probably the reasons why they went on strike. Not just the bad treatment and payments, and lack of good payments, obviously, for those good reasons, but this also, like, yeah, this even been one of the worst summers for movies. Like, Across the Spider-Verse, Oppenheimer were the only good movies that came out this summer. And the only great movies that came out this summer were Across Spider-Verse and Oppenheimer. because the rest has just been underwhelming. And I don't predict Fall's going to be better either. I'm interested in seeing how Saw 10 goes, but I don't even think it's going to be great, really, really great. I can highly doubt. I can highly bet that. But we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, this fall I might just try to do other outdoor things and rewatch older stuff for reviews. Because there's not going to be much good coming out in fall. Like, the only thing I really want to, the only remaining blockbuster I really want to see this year is Dune Part 2. And that's it. Other than Dune Part 2, there's not much else to be excited for this year. Understandable. Like, with John Wick 4, True Fire Pink Guy, I can see where some people are coming from. Like, I don't like Chiron getting killed off in the beginning, and I can agree with people on the stair scene. The stair scene, that was ridiculous. Like, come on. I get John Wick can be a little ridiculous at times, but it wasn't like overly done. It wasn't like overly done the stupidest way possible. The glass scene was ridiculous in John Wick 3, but it was epic. It was an epic action scene. The stair scene wasn't an action scene. It was John Wick just getting his ass kicked way too much. And this is a character that's really supposed to be invincible. And it didn't need to be 2 times either. With the ending, this is going to be controversial at the ending, but I think this might have been the only way out for John, because they kind of foreshadowed his death in the beginning. Like, when he goes to get revenge on the High Table in the beginning of the movie, the elder's like, even if you kill the High Table, you won't find any peace. So I honestly think even if he did get revenge on the High Table, he would never find peace, and I don't think his freedom would have much freedom would have lasted, because more people would have likely just reformed the High Table anyway. So I don't think he was gonna. So I don't think even killing the High Table would have really did much for him. The only way he was really gonna find peace was death. That's gonna sound controversial, people, but sorry, guys. This is kind of, even Chaselsky kind of said this was the only way out for John. It is what it is. And I don't think we need a John Wick 5. Or too many spin-offs. Because they're probably just going to make John Wick the next Fast and Furious. Which also needs to end. But, oh well, I got nothing much else to say for this live stream, guys. I'm going to end it here. So, yeah, that's it for this 25th birthday live stream. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this, want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.